Okay, welcome. So for tonight's koan, I wanted to pull from a somewhat unconventional koan collection by reading you the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So, once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear. One day, after they had made porridge for their breakfast, they walked out into the wood while the porridge was cooling, and while they were walking, a little girl came into the house. This little girl had golden curls that tumbled down her back to her waist, and everyone called her by Goldilocks. Goldilocks went inside. First, she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, and that was far too hot for her. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, and that was too cold for her. And then she went to the porridge of the little small wee bear and tasted that, and that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right, and she liked it so well that she ate it all up. Then Goldilocks went upstairs into the bedchamber, and first she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, and then she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and finally she lay down upon the bed of the little small wee bear, and that was just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and lay there until she fell fast asleep. By this time, the three bears thought their porridge would be cool enough, so they came back home to breakfast. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great huge voice. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle bear in his middle voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his, and there was a spoon in the porridge, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody's been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," and the little small wee bear said in his little small wee voice. And then the three bears went upstairs into their bedroom. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great rough gruff voice. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle bear in his middle voice. And when the little small wee bear came in to look at his bed, upon the pillow there was a pool of golden curls and the angelic face of the little girl snoring away fast asleep. "Somebody's been lying in my bed, and here she is," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. And Goldilocks jumped off the bed and ran downstairs and out the door and down the garden path. She ran until she reached the house of her grandmama. She told her grandmama about the house of the three bears who lived in the wood. Her granny said, my, what a wild imagination you have, child." Okay, so that is our koan case for tonight. My, what a wonderful imagination you have, child. So that last sentence is actually why I wanted to do a Dharma talk on it. Because what is going on in our mind all the time? This porridge is too cold. This porridge is too hot. This porridge is just right. And it reminds me of someone else who we talk about a lot, which is Master Joshu, who in case 2 of the Blue Cliff Record says, "The ultimate path is without difficulty, just avoid picking and choosing." So, is it okay to have preferences? Because the funny thing about the story is that nothing really happens. You know, the girl goes to the house and is like, "I don't like this, I don't like that, I do like this." Right? And then she goes up to the beds and is like, "I don't like this bed, I don't like that bed, I like this bed." And then of course, the bears are also having a Dharma experience because their experience is like, "Someone's been messing with my stuff." Well, someone's been messing with my stuff and now it's ruined. And we have, the wee bear, right, who's very soft, sweet, and reserved. So that's one position we could take. "Oh, I'll move through my life by being kind to everyone." Right? And we have the middle bear who's like, "I'm just, I'm not gonna get too intense. I'm not gonna be soft. Not gonna let you walk on me, but I'm not gonna yell. I'm gonna just middle path. I'll split the difference." Right? And then we have the big bear who's like, "I'll just be a bully and barge my way through life and get what I want. And you better watch out." Right? All of these are fixed positions. Too hot, too cold, just right. Big bear, middle bear, small bear. They're all the wrong answer because they're all a fixed answer. So what Joshu is telling us is avoid picking and choosing. Doesn't mean that if you like chocolate, you can't eat chocolate. It just means that if you don't have chocolate, that's okay. Let it go. Be with what is. So, another interesting little component of this children's story is that, Goldilocks goes out and has an experience, and she brings it back and then isn't believed. And one of the requirements for long-term Zen study is great faith, right? Faith that you can do it, right? We're not doing faith in other beings, right? This is self-faith, right? This is faith in yourself. It's faith that you can, in fact, accomplish the way, that you can, in fact, wake up. But other people may not believe it, right? So, and it's funny, people, like, before you're a teacher, people may not believe that you'll ever get there. And then when you become a teacher, people don't believe that you have any issues anymore, right? It's like, oh, I wish I could be so Zen like you. And it's like, well, yeah, when I put on the robes and come to teach, I probably seem pretty Zen, but like, check out what happens when my car dies on the way to the airport. This car is too slow. So what's happening is that the three bears and Goldilocks are encountering the very fundamental nature of human existence, which is that, everything has Buddha nature. Everything has original nature. And that nature is that there is no fixed thing, right? Nothing has any fixed characteristic. Everything is in movement. It's in motion. It isn't a fixed thing. And so that being the case, sometimes the porridge is hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's lukewarm, sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it isn't. And it sounds silly when we're talking about porridge, but when we talk about I come home and I tell my partner a story about something that happened to work, and I'm expecting them to praise me because I'm feeling like I need some praise, but they're in some kind of other space in their head and they don't give me quite what I want. I went to talk to my spouse and my partner was too cold. Right? How quickly can we make space for them to be right where they are? Right? How quickly can we make space for ourselves to be right where we are? What about when people don't believe that what we're doing is of any value? There's so many versions of picking and choosing. One version of picking and choosing is, well, I don't pick and choose. I'm so enlightened, I don't pick and choose. I just, whatever happens, I just work with what's happening in the moment. Ugh. That's called the stink of Zen. We actually have a name for that in the world of formal Zen practice. Right? Which is, you set up a little tent, and on the outside says the sign, at one peaceful Buddhist person. But that's not the thing. That's not what we're aiming at. Because we're still picking and choosing. So how do we learn to be effective no matter what temperature our porridge is? How do we learn to be free no matter what temperature our porridge is? Because many of us are often the little bear. I expected a thing to happen and something else happened, right? I expected to have the porridge be what I wanted to be, and I got here and someone had eaten it. Like, that sounds very silly. Except, take a minute and just ask yourself, what happens when I don't get quite what I expect? How quickly are you able to pivot back into the present moment? I was trying to get out the door a while ago. It was on a weekend day. And was changing the cat litter box. And I was doing it, like sometimes you do a scoop, right? If you have cats who do this, sometimes you do a scoop, but then sometimes you do a full change, right? It's like changing the transmission fluid in a car, right? Like sometimes you gotta do a full clean out, right? So take the litter box, and I kind of wrap it in a garbage bag, and I dump the cat litter into the garbage bag and set the box aside, put the fresh in. Now I've got this garbage bag full of disgusting cat litter and clumps and poops, right? And so I'm walking up the stairs, and again, I'm on the way to somewhere. This is like I'm gonna throw this in the trash as I get in the car. And there's a little nail in the old step that has protruded up a bit. And it catches the garbage bag, and it just goes, and it like slices it open like a scalpel. And the litter just goes skadoosh all over the stairs. And then like, there's like a little peep through in our stairs, and below that is a rack that has all of the towels, like the clean towels. And so it spews down all over all of the clean towel storage. You know. So, you know, the end result of that was words I will not say on the internet, right, since we're recording this. But suffice to say, I did not remain completely in nirvanic peace, right? Oh my God, I was so upset. My wife and daughter came running. They're like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" That's a human life. I mean, you know, so what happened? We clean it up. You wash the towels, you clean it up. That's what we do. Just clean the cat litter. But we can do that, right? That could ruin your whole day. Or you can come back, you can pivot, and you can go, I can be like, "Oh my God," and then go, "Okay, time to clean some cat litter. Go get some gloves, go get the vacuum, go get some bleach, do the things." Pivot to the effective engagement of this moment without preferences, because it's already here. I love when people announce their preference for something different as they're engaging something, right? Like, you know, "Hey, can you give me a hand with this?" "Well, I was really hoping to do this other thing, but sure." Right? You guys ever encountered that? You know, I'm so tired of having to always be the one to clean the kitchen as they're cleaning. Right? It's like, be in the moment. I mean, maybe what's in the moment is that like someone's feeling overtaxed and the chores aren't being adequately shared. But then be there, right? Be like, "Hey, I would like to talk to you. I feel like I'm doing all the chores. Can you please do some of the chores?" Right? That's fair. You could do that. But that is not picking and choosing. That's working with what has come up. Right? We also have not picking, right? Whatever's already happened, pick it. Because it's already happened. Like we do all this picking and choosing in our mind before and after the fact that sets us up to be upset and suffer and to be disappointed all the time. And when things come up that we have to deal with, we then refuse to choose them. And we sit there grumbling and upset and struggling and frustrated because something has come into reality that we didn't want. So that's the other side, right? Just clean up the cat litter. It's too late. You might as well choose it. Because you are choosing it, right? I'm not going to choose to have all my towels be covered in poo. So I choose to deal with this. There's a koan that says, "What is Buddha?" And the answer is shit stick. And a better translation is probably toilet paper. I mean, when you're looking at the ancient cultural context, we're talking about something that people are cleaning themselves with. You know, so what is the Buddha? The Buddha is toilet paper. Well, what's one of the most useful things that's ever existed that no one talks about, right? It cleans up the grossest thing. But it's also kind of inspiring because we can meet people right there. I don't know about y'all, but I definitely have the experience lots of times where people show up feeling apologetic for who they are. I'm so sorry that I'm struggling with this. I'm so sorry I'm struggling with that. I'm so sorry I didn't have time to do my hair. I'm so sorry my house isn't clean enough. I'm so sorry that my car is messy. I'm so sorry that I exist. I'm so sorry that the version of me is not the version I was wanting to share. It's some other version that's inadequate in my mind. I see that all the time. I had a woman come over to me at a tea shop the other day. I was having tea with a friend and I ordered an Asiago bagel and tea. And I went and sat down. And this woman came over and she was like, I'm so sorry. We're changing our bagel menu and I'm out of the Asiago. Would you be willing to accept a plain bagel? And I said, I would be willing to accept any bagel that you will bring me. Like some cream cheese, and do you have cream cheese? Yes. And she's like, we do. I'm like, great. Can you go back there and put cream cheese on any bagel that you have and bring it to me, and I will be thrilled. Thank you so much. But why is she like that, right? She's like that because a whole raft of people before me, at some small inconvenience, were picking and choosing, and were like, how dare you deny me the bagel that I ordered? This is ridiculous. I think everyone should have to work retail for at least 1 year. Right? Then you treat everyone in the world a lot better. But in all seriousness, that's the road to suffering, is picking and choosing. And so instead, stop, look at what is, look at your relationship to it, and then choose to deal with it. And choose the suffering. Because there's suffering. I don't mean be a masochist. I just mean, when the stairs are soiled, you have to clean them. I choose it. I choose that suffering. And then just come into the present moment and do that thing and let go of thoughts and just be focused on attending to that task. And then it can have a kind of power to it that's sort of strange. It can become kind of a miraculous activity where you're like, I'm experiencing full presence in the moment while washing dishes. This is amazing. Body and mind have dropped away and I'm doing nothing but cleaning. So, no matter what temperature your porridge is, right, choose that. If you find yourself trying to be one particular bear all the time, the bully bear or the middle bear or the shy, reserved, diminutive bear, don't. Be the bear that is authentic to this situation. Okay.